The luxury apartment security manager saw only empty corridors on his cameras. But at that very moment, inside, an elderly female security guard was directing the most dangerous operation of her life. The robbers thought they had calculated every step, until, in the darkness, that woman, appearing like a shadow, hunted each of them down one by one. When the police arrived, the scene that awaited them was astounding. The city's most wanted robbers lay on the ground, screaming, crying, utterly defeated. And standing calmly over them was that passive security guard. Who was this woman, and where had she hidden these skills? Keep watching to find out. In one of Boston's most exclusive neighborhoods, life flowed peacefully within the prestigious Emerald Towers, reaching high into the sky. Its high ceilings, polished marble floors, and sparkling chandeliers symbolized wealth and security. Yet in the shadow of this luxury, there was a figure largely unnoticed by most residents. Security guard Ms. Evelyn Reed. In her mid-60s, with silver hair and a face etched with countless experiences, she wore her uniform meticulously pressed, though it showed years of wear. She was most often seen sitting in the lobby armchair or monitoring cameras, always maintaining a quiet and reserved demeanor. Residents, especially the young and dynamic executives, referred to her as the smiling but silent one, or the apartment's ghost. No one even quite remembered her first name, often simply calling her Ms. Reed. Evelyn flawlessly executed the invisibility required by her profession. She spent hours at the lobby cameras, opened doors, received packages, but always remained distant and self-contained. The apartment residents viewed her merely as a decorative element, a figure that provided a sense of security, but actually did nothing, comforting them simply by her presence. Little did they know, Evelyn was once one of the U.S. Army's most formidable snipers. She had participated in covert operations during the Cold War, moving like a phantom, neutralizing even the toughest targets with a single shot, a legendary sharpshooter. Now, her biggest operation was to ensure the security of a luxury apartment building. As Evelyn monitored the movements displayed on the screens, echoes of her past would resurface in her mind. Every corner, every shadow, every entrance was like a map for her to read. The apartment's security systems were child's play to her. Infrared sensors, laser barriers. These were modern versions of the far more primitive but lethal systems she had utilized years ago behind enemy lines. Apartment manager Mr. Arthur Hayes would ask Evelyn during his daily routine tour, "Is everything all right, Ms. Reed? Is our security in good hands?" Evelyn would always respond calmly, "In good hands, Mr. Hayes, don't worry at all." Hayes would nod, smile, and walk away, his mind still believing Evelyn was just a door opener. However, those silent, good hands were about to become the target of one of the city's most dangerous and professional robbery gangs, the Dark Serpents.
It was a frosty night over Boston. The city lights sparkled below, while the windows of Emerald Towers were cloaked in darkness. As the clock struck midnight, deep within the luxurious apartments, residents were in peaceful slumber. But Evelyn Reed was at her security desk, monitoring screens. For a moment, one of the exterior security cameras flickered, then normalized. Evelyn's brows subtly furrowed. Was this a routine glitch or an anomaly? Years of experience whispered to her that her instincts were rarely wrong. Her fingers moved swiftly across the keyboard, checking the logs. Past cyber attacks and signal jamming were not just data points for her, but threats that needed to be resolved. A minute later, another camera feed flickered in the same manner. Evelyn stood up. A sharp, determined expression, usually unseen by anyone, appeared on her face. She adjusted her cardigan. The phantom sniper within her was slowly awakening. She moved towards the silent corridors of the apartment. Her footsteps were almost inaudible on the polished marble. Every shadow, every corner was a potential ambush point or cover for her. She moved like a predator locked onto its target. On the top floor of the apartment, in one of the most valuable units, 4 masked figures infiltrated the premises. One of them, holding a state-of-the-art device, had disabled the security system. "All clear, boss. We're in like ghosts. Nobody noticed." Their leader responded with a cold, calculating voice. "Good. Finish your business quickly. Make sure nobody sees you." Little did the robbers know, Evelyn Reed herself, the real Phantom, was already moving to silently hunt them down, precisely at the moment they thought they were invisible. In the top-floor corridor, the 4 robbers had begun collecting valuables. Their leader, hearing the confirmation over their comms, felt a sense of relief. But at that moment, a shadow stirred from the darkness at the end of the corridor. It was Evelyn Reed. Her footsteps were a mere whisper on the marble floor. The first robber, his eyes fixed on the apartment's interior, didn't sense the danger approaching from behind him. Evelyn moved with lightning speed. Years of unarmed combat and neutralization training transformed every strike into lethal precision. She delivered a swift, precise blow to the robber's neck, then quickly twisted his wrist, bringing him to the ground. As the robber opened his mouth to scream, Evelyn's other hand clamped over it. He collapsed silently, unconscious. His weapon clattered from his hand. The other robbers, preoccupied inside the apartment, didn't even notice their comrade fall. Evelyn secured the weapon and moved towards the second robber. This one was examining a valuable vase in one of the rooms. Evelyn observed his movements, calculating every potential countermove. She glided through the corridor like a phantom. She made a slight sound to draw the robber's attention elsewhere. The moment he turned his head, Evelyn swiftly neutralized him. This time, she delivered a quick, sharp strike to his neck. The robber collapsed without dropping the vase. Evelyn caught the falling vase in midair, preventing it from breaking. Then she retrieved the robber's comms device and silently switched it off. Inside the apartment, 2 robbers had been neutralized, unlike the bank robbery. Not a single sound had been made here. The robber's leader and the third man, unaware of the situation, were finishing their work in the last room. Their leader had begun to suspect something from the silence on his comms. "Tim, Chris, is everything all right?" he whispered, but there was no answer. That was the moment Amelia's true game began. Her sniper's mind was now locked onto its most complex target, neutralizing the remaining 2 professional robbers without making any noise.
The leader and the last remaining robber were tense due to the silence on their comms. The leader pulled out his backup radio. "Tim, Chris, respond. I'm talking to you," he said, his voice more anxious. At that moment, a faint click came from deeper in the corridor. The robbers instantly aimed their weapons. They expected a panicked victim or an amateur security guard. But what they saw was a shadow. Evelyn Reed slowly emerged from the corridor's darkness. There was no emotion on her face, only cold determination. The leader scoffed. "Well, well, Granny. Were you in the security room? Don't worry, we won't touch you. Just cooperate with us and—" His words hung in the air, because Evelyn moved with sudden speed. This time, she attacked both robbers simultaneously. She noticed a movement in the leader's arm, and before he could pull the trigger, Evelyn struck his wrist, deflecting his gun. The bullet lodged in the wall. At the same instant, with her other hand, she firmly gripped the third robber's carotid artery in his neck. The robber's eyes widened, his breath hitched. In seconds, he lost consciousness and collapsed to the floor. The leader, shocked and enraged, turned to Amelia. "Who are you?" he roared. Evelyn dropped the weapon. She would not use a gun, That was her rule. She lunged at the robber, engaging in unarmed combat. Evelyn's movements were a flawless demonstration of years of close-quarters combat training. Her every move was not a mere strike, but a technique to completely control and neutralize the enemy. The robber tried to resist with all his might, but it was futile. A few seconds later, he too was on the ground, unconscious. Silence fell all over the apartment. Evelyn looked at the 4 robbers on the ground. All were neutralized, disarmed. She took a deep breath. Mission accomplished. She pulled out a small zippered pouch from her pocket and placed all the comms devices and weapons inside. She calmly found a resident's phone and called the police. "I'm at Emerald Towers. I'm the security guard. There was an attempted robbery. 4 individuals have been neutralized. I need your assistance." Her calm voice surprised the dispatcher on the other end of the line. Police sirens sharply ceased in front of Emerald Towers. SWAT teams, heavily armed, along with Police Chief Thomas Davies and Detective Amelia Vance, the former bank teller, now working in law enforcement, swiftly arrived at the scene. As they entered the apartment building, they froze at the sight that unfolded in the lobby. 4 professional robbers lay unconscious on the ground, with no mess or damage around, and standing calmly over them, holding a teacup, was the seemingly ordinary, elderly, female security guard. Police Chief Thomas Davies blinked in disbelief. "What's going on here?" he asked. Detective Amelia Vance couldn't hide her astonishment. "Impossible," she murmured. When they saw Evelyn, a momentary shock registered on Thomas Davies' face, quickly turning into an incredible display of respect. Both Thomas Davies and Detective Amelia Vance simultaneously snapped to attention and rendered a full military salute to Evelyn Reed. "Colonel," Chief Davies exclaimed, his eyes trembling with respect, but his eyes clearly held the unspoken question, "What are you doing here?" Detective Amelia Vance also nodded in salute, speaking at the same time. "Colonel Reed, your intervention was unexpected, but, as always, excellent work." Her words hung in the air, resonating in everyone's minds throughout the bank. Evelyn Reed, her uniform slightly rumpled, but her posture ramrod straight, met the gaze of the 2 military leaders with the same determined and calm look. She subtly nodded. The apartment residents and other security personnel watched in stunned silence. The elderly woman they had deemed passive and just a door opener was now receiving salutes from the city's highest-ranking law enforcement officers and special operations teams. Apartment manager Arthur Hayes, mouth agape, eyes wide, stammered, "Colonel, Ms. Reed?" Evelyn looked at Manager Hayes and the apartment residents with a calm smile. She saw that their faces, instead of fear, now showed surprise, admiration, and the dawning of a deeper understanding. "Everything is under control," she said, her voice calm and authoritative. "No one was harmed. The robbers have been neutralized. Please assist the teams outside." The police and SWAT teams flooded the apartment, handcuffing the robbers and meticulously collecting evidence. Chief Davies and Detective Amelia Vance spoke briefly with Evelyn, their voices low and respectful. As they prepared to leave, Chief Davies turned to Evelyn and saluted one last time. "Colonel, as always, excellent work. We witnessed a lot tonight." Evelyn smiled faintly. "Just doing my job, Chief, and rest assured I don't expect these kinds of operations either." Evelyn Reed quietly returned to the security room. Outside, ambulances, police cars, and a curious crowd were dispersing. Cameramen and journalists flashed their lights, but Evelyn turned her back and calmly resumed her duties. The night she began as the apartment's ghost was now a thing of the past. She was truth in the mirror. Behind her ordinary appearance lay the precision of a sniper, the composure of a commando, and the soul of a hero. Her quiet life, that day, showed the entire city that true heroism can shine in the most unexpected moments, far beyond anyone's expectations. This story proves how deceptive appearances can be, and that the greatest courage can sometimes come from the most unexpected places. True heroes do not live in headlines, but in hearts and in their silent actions. Share your own story with us. Have you ever been judged by your appearance, or witnessed someone rise when no one believed in them? Tell us your thoughts in the comments. Your voice matters. Subscribe to Truth in the Mirror. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more inspiring stories and unexpected transformation moments. Hit the bell icon to be notified instantly of our new videos.